Have you ever wondered why that sticky mucus keeps coming back every morning? For so many seniors, this isn't just a passing irritation. It becomes a daily ritual. The coughing and clearing, the nagging feeling that something's just not quite right in your chest. And yet most people chalk it up to age or to a cold that never went away. But here's the surprising truth. Persistent mucus isn't just one of those things about getting older. It's often your body's way of waving a red flag. And if you ignore it or treat it with the wrong remedy, you could be making the problem worse, not better. That's exactly why this video could make a big difference in your day-to-day comfort and maybe even your long-term health. Because today we're unpacking the 5 most common reasons older adults find themselves coughing up mucus every day. Not vague guesses, real medically backed reasons that many people simply don't know. And by the end, you'll not only understand what might be causing it, but also what you can start doing differently right away. So if you're between 55 and 85 and you're tired of starting every morning with a cough and a throat full of gunk, this video is for you. And even if you're not dealing with this yourself, chances are someone close to you is. So stay tuned, because what you'll learn in the next few minutes might finally explain what's been going on, and more importantly, give you the tools to finally do something about it. Let's get started. Reason 1, postnasal drainage from aging sinuses. One of the most overlooked reasons. Older people find themselves coughing up mucus. Each day is something that's happening quietly behind the scenes in your sinuses. As we age, the lining of the nasal passages begins to dry out. The tiny hairs that once helped clear irritants, called cilia, start slowing down. And the result? Mucus that should be swept clean from your sinuses begins to drip down the back of your throat instead. This is what's called postnasal drainage. And while it might sound harmless, it can feel anything but. Imagine waking up every morning with that tickle in your throat. You clear it, swallow, and still it lingers. For many, it leads to a dry cough. For others, it turns into that familiar need to hack something up. What's even more frustrating is that this isn't the kind of mucus that comes from a cold or flu. It doesn't go away in a week or two. It lingers for months, even years. And many older adults just assume it's part of getting older. But here's the truth, while aging does play a role, you're not powerless. In fact, postnasal drip is often worsened by things like indoor heating in winter, dry bedroom air, or even acid reflux that creeps up at night. Some seniors I've spoken to even found their morning mucus vanished after simply running a humidifier near their bed, or elevating their pillow to sleep on a gentle incline. From a psychological standpoint, postnasal drainage can be quietly draining. You start the day clearing your throat instead of enjoying your morning coffee. You feel self-conscious in social situations, constantly apologizing for the noise or discomfort. Over time, it chips away at your sense of normalcy and confidence. I've known folks in their late 70s who stopped going to church gatherings or community breakfasts simply because they didn't want to be the one coughing again. There's also a deeper issue here, something that touches on our dignity as we age. When your body keeps producing symptoms that feel sticky, heavy, or gross, it can lead to a quiet kind of shame. We don't talk about it. We pretend it's not there. But the truth is, it matters. Feeling clear, light, and unbothered each morning sets the tone for your entire day. You deserve that kind of start. So if you've been struggling with mucus in the mornings, ask yourself, could it be postnasal drip? Is the air in your home too dry? Are you using nasal sprays that might actually be making the problem worse? Start by tracking your environment, your nighttime routine, and even your diet. You might be surprised how small changes like sipping warm lemon water first thing in the morning or adding moisture back to your bedroom air can make a world of difference. Let's keep going. The next reason might be hiding in plain sight, and it's something many people never think to connect to mucus. Reason 2, hidden acid reflux. Now here's something that surprises many older adults. The mucus you keep coughing up each morning might not be from your lungs or nose at all. In fact, it might be coming from your stomach. Yes, acid reflux, or what doctors sometimes call silent reflux, is one of the most common hidden causes of chronic mucus in people over 60. And unlike classic heartburn, this version doesn't always come with burning in your chest. Instead, it sends small amounts of stomach acid up into your throat while you sleep, irritating the lining, inflaming your voice box, and prompting your body to produce mucus as a defense. What makes this so tricky is that it doesn't feel like reflux in the way we expect. There's no spicy food the night before, no heavy meal, just a feeling that you need to keep clearing your throat. Maybe your voice sounds hoarse in the morning. Maybe you feel a lump or tightness in your throat. You might even think it's allergies. But deep down, your body is trying to soothe a tiny injury you didn't even know was happening. This kind of reflux becomes more common as we age. Our esophageal valve, the little muscle that's supposed to close tightly between the stomach and throat, gets weaker. And when you lie flat at night, gravity no longer keeps acid in its place. So it creeps up, quietly, repeatedly. And every time it does, your body lays down a layer of mucus like a fireman, spraying water on a hot spot. I once met a 68-year-old woman named Teresa, who was convinced she had chronic bronchitis. For months, she hacked up mucus every morning. Her doctor ruled out infection. Her lungs looked clear. But when she tried sleeping with her upper body slightly raised and stopped eating within 3 hours of bedtime, the mucus vanished. Just like that. What she had wasn't a lung problem at all. It was silent reflux. Here's the emotional side many don't talk about. When you can't figure out why your body keeps acting this way, you start to feel helpless. You feel like you're doing everything right, eating well, staying warm, resting, but your mornings are still ruined by this cough and mess. And the worst part? People around you don't get it. They think it's just aging. So you stop explaining. You stop asking. And slowly you stop expecting relief. But you deserve better. If this sounds familiar, try a few things. Raise the head of your bed a few inches. Avoid late-night snacks, especially acidic foods like tomatoes or citrus. Sip warm ginger tea after dinner instead of reaching for something heavy. And most importantly, talk to your doctor, not just about heartburn, but about the possibility of silent reflux. Because sometimes the solution isn't more medicine, it's smarter habits. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Reason 3, dry indoor air. You might think mucus only builds up when you're sick or when it's humid outside. But for many older adults, the opposite is true. Mucus production can actually spike when the air is too dry, especially indoors. And guess what? That's exactly the kind of environment many seniors spend most of their time in. Heated homes in winter, air-conditioned rooms in summer. Both strip moisture from the air, drying out your nose and throat. And in response, your body does the only thing it knows how to do to protect those tissues. It makes mucus. Now, this might sound backward. After all, we associate dry air with a dry nose, right? But when your airways dry out, the delicate lining in your nasal passages and throat becomes irritated. Your body senses this as damage, like a little burn on the inside. So it floods the area with mucus to keep things moist, to trap any particles, and to soothe that inflammation. The more time you spend in this kind of air, especially while you sleep, the more likely you'll wake up needing to clear your throat, blow your nose, or cough up phlegm. I remember a gentleman named Walter, 72 years old, who had been battling thick morning mucus for over a year. He tried allergy meds. He tried cutting out dairy. He even changed his toothpaste, thinking it was causing some kind of reaction. But the mucus kept coming. Then one winter, his daughter gave him a humidifier for his bedroom. Within a week, the mucus was half as bad. Within 2, it was gone. That's how powerful dry air can be. It doesn't look like a problem. You can't smell it. You can't touch it. But your body feels it, and it fights back the only way it can. This is especially true for older adults because as we age, our mucous membranes naturally get drier. Our skin gets thinner, our hydration levels drop, and our body's ability to regulate moisture weakens. Add in medications like antihistamines, blood pressure pills, or diuretics, all of which can dry you out. And now you've got a perfect storm for thick, sticky mucus that's hard to clear. Emotionally, this kind of mucus problem can be frustrating because it feels like it comes out of nowhere. You feel fine when you go to bed. You didn't eat anything strange. You're not sick. But still, every morning, you're stuck clearing your throat, feeling embarrassed during breakfast, maybe even canceling plans because of how uncomfortable it is. That can chip away at your confidence. It can make you hesitant to go out or even answer the phone. And most people don't realize that the simple solution might be sitting in a plastic box on a drugstore shelf, a small humidifier. So if you're waking up with mucus and don't know why, take a look around your bedroom. Is there a humidifier? Is there a bowl of water near the heater or vent? Are you drinking water before bed and after waking up? These small changes, Don't cost much, but they can make a huge difference. Because when your body feels supported, it doesn't have to fight so hard. And the mucus, it stops showing up. Reason 4. Silent acid reflux. One of the most overlooked reasons older adults find themselves constantly coughing up mucus, especially first thing in the morning, is something called silent acid reflux. Now, when most people hear acid reflux, they picture heartburn, that burning sensation in the chest after a big meal, right? But silent reflux is different. It's sneaky. It doesn't always cause pain. Instead, it creeps up your throat during the night while you're lying down and leaves behind inflammation, irritation, and, you guessed it, mucus. You see, when you lie flat, stomach acid can travel upward into your esophagus without you even realizing it. And when that acid reaches the back of your throat or your vocal cords, your body rushes to protect those sensitive tissues. It produces mucus to coat the lining, neutralize the acid, and repair the damage. So when you wake up and feel a need to clear your throat, or you notice a sticky feeling that doesn't go away, this might be the hidden cause. And the worst part? Most seniors chalk it up to age or allergies and never treat the real problem. Silent reflux is especially common in people over 60 because as we age, the muscles that keep stomach acid in place, the lower esophageal sphincter, tend to weaken. That means acid has a much easier time slipping past the barrier and climbing up the throat. And since we're often more sedentary later in life, or eating closer to bedtime, the conditions become just right for this to happen. I once met a woman named Helen, 68 years old, who told me she was clearing her throat 40 to 50 times a day. She'd been to ear, nose, and throat doctors. She thought it was allergies, then maybe a cold that never quite healed. But it wasn't until someone asked her about her nighttime habits, like eating late, lying flat after meals, and waking up with a hoarse voice, that the picture became clearer. Once she started eating dinner earlier, propping her head up at night, and avoiding trigger foods like tomatoes and chocolate, the mucus problem practically vanished. The emotional toll of silent reflux can be heavy. Because it doesn't feel like a digestive issue, many seniors feel confused and helpless. They wonder why they always sound congested. They worry about throat cancer or chronic infections. And worst of all, they may start feeling self-conscious when talking to others, clearing their throat, repeatedly coughing mid-sentence, or avoiding conversations altogether. But once you understand what's really going on, the power comes back to you. This isn't just age. It's not just one of those things. It's a physical response your body is making to a very real irritant. And with just a few simple shifts like elevating your pillow, skipping acidic foods late at night, or spacing out your meals, you can give your throat the break it needs. So if you wake up with mucus every morning and nothing else seems to explain it, take a moment to ask yourself, what time did I eat dinner? Did I lie down right after? Am I snacking on spicy or acidic foods at night? These are not just small habits. They're big clues. Because sometimes the biggest problems aren't caused by what we feel, but by what we don't. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Reason 5, dry air and poor humidity. The air you breathe, especially in the place you spend most of your time, your home, might be silently working against your lungs, your throat, and your ability to breathe clearly. One of the most common but overlooked reasons older adults cough up mucus day after day is dry indoor air. It may sound harmless, but when the air around you lacks proper humidity, your entire respiratory system reacts, and not in a good way. As we age, our mucous membranes, the delicate linings of our nasal passages, throat, and lungs, become more sensitive. They don't produce moisture as efficiently as they once did, and they don't tolerate dryness well. When the air is dry, those membranes try to compensate by producing extra mucus as a protective response. The body is trying to keep those areas moist, but it ends up creating excess congestion instead. That's why many older adults find themselves constantly clearing their throat, especially in the winter months or when the heater or air conditioner is constantly running. I once visited an old friend named Bob, a retired school principal in his late 70s. Every morning, he'd sit by the window with a cup of coffee and a box of tissues, coughing and clearing his throat like clockwork. At first, he thought it was just old age or maybe allergies. But then he noticed something strange whenever he traveled to a more humid climate. Like when he visited his daughter in Florida, the coughing almost disappeared. Turns out his home was simply too dry. Once he added a simple humidifier in his bedroom and another in the living room, the difference was like night and day. He went from coughing 30 times a morning to barely once or twice. Dry air also affects how mucus behaves inside your body. Instead of being thin and easy to clear, mucus becomes thick and sticky. It clings to your throat, settles in your lungs, and becomes harder to expel. This not only creates that constant feeling of needing to cough, but also increases your risk of respiratory infections. Thick mucus can trap bacteria and dust, turning your airway into a breeding ground for illness. And for many older adults, this dry environment is entirely unintentional. The heating systems we rely on in the winter and the air conditioners we love in the summer both strip moisture out of the air. Add to that closed windows, indoor fans, and poor ventilation, and you've got the perfect recipe for year-round throat irritation. What feels like a safe and comfortable home can quietly be triggering your symptoms day after day. The psychological impact is real too. Many seniors feel frustrated or even embarrassed by the constant throat clearing. They may avoid talking on the phone, limit time around friends, or assume something is deeply wrong with their lungs. But in many cases, the fix is surprisingly simple: improve the air you breathe. A good quality humidifier, regular hydration, indoor plants that release moisture, and even opening windows periodically for fresh air can make a world of difference. You don't need expensive machines or medical procedures, just a few thoughtful adjustments that put your comfort and well-being first. If you find yourself coughing every morning or clearing your throat more than you'd like, look around your space. Pay attention to how the air feels. Because sometimes the biggest relief doesn't come from medicine or diagnosis, it comes from simply breathing better. Let's now take this insight with us and move on to our final reflection. Final thoughts. If you've ever felt embarrassed by your constant throat clearing, frustrated by the never-ending mucus, or even scared that something might be seriously wrong with your lungs, I want to tell you this: you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not broken. So many older adults quietly carry this discomfort, thinking it's just part of getting older or something they have to live with. But as we've seen today, there are real reasons behind this daily struggle. And even better, there are real ways to manage it. When you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, your body begins to speak in whispers rather than shouts. It tells you what it needs through small changes, like coughing a bit more in the morning or noticing more mucus after a meal. These aren't signs of weakness. They're signs of wisdom, of a body that's lived through decades and now needs a little more care, a little more attention, and a little more kindness. Each reason we explored today, whether it was post-nasal drip, acid reflux, chronic bronchitis, certain medications, or even dry air, is your body's way of asking for support. And the good news is, with a few small adjustments, you can begin to breathe easier again. Maybe that means having a conversation with your doctor about your medications. Maybe it means elevating your head while you sleep or adding a humidifier to your bedroom. Or maybe it's just drinking more water throughout the day or cutting back on dairy. Every step counts, no matter how small it may seem. But more than anything, I hope you walk away from this video with something deeper: the knowledge that you deserve to feel better. That you don't have to accept every discomfort as just part of aging. You have the power to take control of your well-being, to ask the right questions, and to make the changes that bring you comfort and peace. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.